Hey everybody, I am back with another video, and this time we are on Asylum. Alright, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Most people like to grab the sniper right off the spawn and jump immediately, so I've kind of conditioned myself to keep the aimer just a little bit higher, and just being aware of that possibility will actually increase your reaction time. So that's just a little tip. Another tip with the sniper on Asylum is to move around a lot. Of course, if you feel more comfortable on your side, that's fine, but be sure to move if an opponent spots you while you're trying to snipe. I usually start at my snipe and then move toward my objective, and then eventually I'll end up at my carbine. However, if we do have ring control, which is ring 2, I prefer to snipe on their pea shooter or even their car, but it really is all situational. Another little tip for Asylum is learning to appreciate weapons such as the needler and the plasma pistol, which you will see me do here in a bit. In fact, you'll see me use both of these weapons. For the most part, I like to pick up the needler just to keep opponents back. People will back off once they actually hear you hold down the trigger because it really does strike fear. I know it does to me. The plasma pistol is great for taking ring 2 control back, especially if they have a sword. It's really just all about how you maneuver though around your jump rock and your bonfire. Getting enough shots in with the plasma pistol and running away can allow for a quick cleanup kill from your teammate and quickly turn the game into your favor. So near the beginning of this game, my teammate was killed and I was left in ring 2 by myself. You may recall the amount of effort I put into staying alive. My rationale behind this is quite simple. Most teams will push on you if they know you're alone, so it's important to get out quick. You want to run preferably toward your teammate, not away from them. Ring 2 is the most powerful position on the map. In my experience, you never want to stay at your base and defend the castle, and you don't always want to be on their side either. An occasional push to finish off kills is sometimes necessary. However, if you stay on their side too long, you'll give up ring 2 control. So once you and your teammate are actually in control of ring 2, you can begin to attempt to catch them in their spawn. Calling out where they will be spawning is extremely easy and important on this map. Basically, the spawns are set up like this. If you kill them near their sniper, they will most likely spawn their rocks. Likewise, if you kill them in their rocks, they will most likely spawn their sniper side. It's important to know that your position also has a great influence on the spawns. So furthermore, if you're pushed up too much, like say you're in their objective, it is possible for them to spawn under your pea shooter, which is another way of saying on your side of the base, and you don't want that to happen. So be cautious as to how your position has the potential to give the other team an advantage if you aren't paying attention. If you are paying attention, you can actually create the results. If you want them to spawn there, you can kind of force them to spawn there. A little bit more experienced tactic, and usually they will, for the most part, they'll jump right into ring 2. And if you know they're going there, then you can use that to your advantage. So now that you're in control of the game, you'll want to keep control for as long as possible. And the best way to ensure control is to have a sword or a shotgun in your back pocket. Now the sword is especially important in keeping ring 2 control. The moment you lose sword on Asylum, you have basically lost ring 2. Even if you're still in ring 2, you won't be there long against a good team. Trust me on that one. Of course, even with a sword as your secondary, you must be aware of the shotgun that spawns under their sniper tower. I would advise you to tell your teammate if you see someone spawn behind their snipe tower. The chances are they have already picked up the shotgun, especially if they know for sure that you have the sword. Another little trick to knowing if your opponent has a shotgun is if, say, you kill them trying to jump into ring 2 with your sword, and then a minute later him or his teammate comes running back to the same exact spot without any hesitation, without any care, and you're just watching your radar and you see this guy come in the same spot. I would be cautious to try the same sword lunge again, because the chances are they aren't going to make the same mistake again, and they might be packing. So now let's talk about the jetpackers. Oh, jetpack. How I do wish I played on default. Jetpack is extremely overpowered in my opinion, especially on some maps. On Asylum, it can be a game changer. As you can imagine, having the ability to fly into or over ring 2 to shoot the guy with the sword is a huge advantage. Likewise, flying above someone with a needler is basically like having rockets. In order to beat these players, you'll need to be expecting them to fly up. Calling out immediately is the only way to ensure you and your partner shoot the jetpacker at the same time. If you if you are an efficient jetpacker on Asylum, I can tell you that I do hate you, but I also respect you because, I mean, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Lastly, I want to talk about another way you can easily lose a team doubles game in general. And then since we're on Asylum, let's go ahead and talk about Ring 2 one more time because it's so important. So I'm a firm believer in the saying, confidence is half the battle. The easiest way to lose control of Ring 2 is to play skittish or scared. And I know this may sound a little bit odd, but playing confident is extremely important in winning games. If you're not warmed up or if your shots aren't registering correctly, you may naturally play too passive. This is of course understandable. I've done it many times, and as a result I've lost many games. However, if you look at your opponent's rank and you feel as if you need to play more cautiously and more conservative, you may just be throwing the game away. You must realize that experienced teams can literally sense your hesitation and fear. Now, I'm not saying you should play extremely aggressive. All I'm saying is that you need to know you need not to allow another team to intimidate you before the game even starts, or even with an out DMR. So lastly, I want to wrap it up. From personal experience, I would say that calling out spawns and controlling Ring 2 is what wins games on Asylum. As long as both you and your teammate are shooting them as they spawn, even if your shot isn't even dead on, the intimidation will slowly build up. And to help you kind of understand this, just think about any time you played a good team that knew exactly where you're going to spawn. And as soon as you spawn, you get team shot and you die right off the bat. Just remember how frustrating that was. And you can understand that when you get that frustrated, you're gonna play pretty poor. It's gonna get to your head and it's gonna cause an effect. I like to call it the tilt effect. If you're a poker player, you know what I'm talking about. It's where you just start getting really agitated and poor decisions. You'll stop calling out. All the verbal, the radio will just go silent, and it's terrible. It's gonna lose the game 99% of the time. So basically, I hope this video helped you guys. That's the game. Comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll have videos out soon.